In October of last year, my mother-in-law made a phone call in my kitchen at 2 a.m. while my husband was busy sleeping beside me. She did not know I was watching her. She did not know I could hear every single word. She had just finished putting something inside my drink, and she was telling her sister that before the month ends, they would lock me up in a psychiatric hospital and she would sell off all my furniture. My name is Mary Adeyemi. Before that night, I was the kind of wife who would be hurting inside, but still be smiling, saying no problem, even when there was a very big problem. I thought I was just dealing with a difficult, sick mother-in-law. I didn't know I was living under the same roof with a monster. Let me paint you a picture of my life before everything scattered. Lekki, Lagos. Third floor apartment with a balcony where I could see the water if I stood on my toes and leaned dangerously to the left. A marketing job that was paying me well enough. A husband named Ade who was tall, handsome, and in those early days made me laugh until my stomach would be aching. We had been married for 3 years. We were trying for a baby, which in Nigeria means your entire extended family is also trying with you, offering advice, sending all sorts of herbs, and checking your stomach every time they look at you. But still, life was good. I had a guest room I used as my reading corner. I had a spice rack organized alphabetically. Yes, alphabetically. I am that kind of person. I had a zobo recipe that my mother taught me before she passed, and I made a fresh jug every week. I was happy. Then one Tuesday, my phone rang, and the perfect life I had built in Lekki started to slide right out of my hands. It was Ade. His voice had that particular tightness, the one that meant the decision had already been made and he was just calling me as a formality, not a partner. Mary, Mama fell. I sat up. What happened? Is she okay? They took her to the hospital in the village. The doctors say they cannot find anything physically wrong, but Mama says her legs are not working. She says she cannot feel them. I waited. I have to bring her Mary. She has nowhere else. I am the first son. There it was. Those 4 words. I am the first son. In Yoruba culture, those 4 words can end an argument before it starts and apparently move a whole woman into your apartment without asking your wife. I waited for the question. The simple, basic, human question. Is that okay with you, Mary? What do you think, Mary? The question did not come. He had already booked the driver. In that moment, I felt genuine pity. A woman who cannot walk. Her legs have gone. God forbid. I pushed down that small, uncomfortable feeling rising in my chest and I said, okay, bring her. I went and changed the guest room sheets. Then I changed them again because the first set suddenly did not look fresh enough. I bought an orthopedic pillow from that pharmacy on the island that charges you Lagos prices for Abuja products. I googled how to care for elderly women with sudden paralysis at 2 in the morning. I was ready. I was prepared to be a good daughter-in-law. God was watching me and shaking his head because he already knew what was coming through that door. She arrived on a Friday afternoon. Ade and his cousin carried her up the stairs in the wheelchair, and I stood at the door with a smile on my face and water and chin-chin on a tray, and then I saw her. Mama was a woman of about 65. She was wearing a full Ankara set, her gele was tied perfectly, Her handbag was on her lap and her nails, people, were freshly painted coral pink. Now, I am not saying a sick woman cannot look presentable. But there is something about a woman who has allegedly lost the use of her legs, who has also somehow found time to do full Ankara and fresh nails that should have made me pause. It did not, because I was still in my good wife era. Mama, welcome. You are so welcome. Come in, let me show you your room. She groaned so loudly I nearly dropped the tray. These stairs. Adi, my son, see what they are doing to your mother. My back. My legs. Mary, I hope the bed is soft. Because my body is suffering. Oh, I have been suffering. Yes, Mama. I bought a special pillow. And the room is not too cold. You know, air conditioning gives me chest pain. And not too hot either. Because heat gives me headache. And I hope there is no noise from outside. Because noise gives me. Mama, Adi said gently. Let us go inside first. She groaned again for good measure. They carried her in. And as they wheeled her through the door and into the living room, I watched her eyes. Just her eyes. While her mouth was groaning and her hands were pressing her chest dramatically, her eyes were doing something completely different. They were moving quickly, scanning the room like a Lagos real estate agent doing valuation. The television, the curtains, the balcony. She was basically taking inventory. I saw it. And then I told myself I was just overthinking. Because what kind of wicked person thinks such things about a paralyzed woman? The first week, I cooked 3 meals a day. I carried trays. I bought the specific biscuits she liked, the ones you can only find in one shop in Surulere, which meant I was driving to Surulere after work on a Wednesday like a mad woman. I bathed her. I helped her dress. I rubbed her legs every evening with the mentholated oil while she watched Yoruba films on my television at a volume that suggested she believed the actors were in the next room and needed to hear her watching. Ade would come home, look at everything I had done and say, "Well done, my love," and go shower. That was his contribution. Well done, my love. The second week, the small things started. Mama began rearranging. I would come home and my throw pillows, the green ones I bought from that boutique in Victoria Island, would be on the floor because they were blocking her view. My magazines would be moved. My reading nook would smell of her rub ointment. Small things. I said nothing. Then she started making suggestions. Mary, this your jollof rice. It is a bit light. Is this how they cook in your family? Because Ade likes it a certain way. Mary, these curtains are too thin. Anybody can see inside. Is this how you keep a home? Mary, you are always going to work. Who is taking care of this house? A home needs a woman's presence. I smiled and said nothing. The mask fell off completely in the second week. On a Thursday evening, I came home from work. I was tired in the way that only a Lagos work day can make you tired. Tired in your bones, tired in your spirit, tired in places you did not know could be tired. Then something hits me before I even open the gate. The smell. Smoke. Not the normal Lagos generator smoke. Something else. Something that made my stomach clench before my brain could explain why. I walked through the apartment, through the sitting room, through the kitchen. I pushed open the back door. In the backyard, Mama was sitting in her wheelchair, hands folded neatly in her lap, back perfectly straight. And in the trash can in front of her, my mother's asoke was burning. I need you to understand what that fabric was. My mother died 4 years before this story. She was not a wealthy woman. She did not leave me land or jewelry or a savings account. What she left me was that asoke, the one she wore on her wedding day, indigo and gold thread, hand woven, the kind they do not make the same way anymore. It was the only physical thing I had left of her in this world. It was in the wardrobe in the guest room. Mama had gone into my wardrobe and brought it outside and set it on fire. I could not speak. I stood at the back door and watched the gold thread curl black, and I could not produce a single sound. It was like someone had reached into my throat and taken my voice. Then she turned around, slowly, like she had known I was there the whole time. It was smelling, she said. Old cloth like that carries old spirits, bad luck. No wonder you have not given Ade a child. I am doing this family a favor. Something broke open in my chest. Not anger yet. Something older than anger. Something that felt like grief and shock mixing together into a sound I had never made before. Mama. That was my mother's. That was the only... She is gone, Mama. She is dead. And that was the only thing... Lower your voice in this house. This is my house. Then we both heard it. Ade's car pulling into the compound. And what Mama did next? If they tell you, don't believe.